We've got some fresh new young talent.
I'm Luis.
And I'm Luis.
And you're listening to the Content is Profit podcast.
We spent the last 4 years learning the strategies and techniques from some of the top marketers in the world on how to create content that turns into profit.
If you'd like to learn more on how to turn your content into profit, go to contentisprofit.com. Yes.
Oh, today, guys, we got this topic. It is straight fire from a straight fire guest. Is TikTok's future hanging by a thread? How clickbaity is that title?
So
right
clickbaity,
there?
but I love it. You know, I mean, that is part of the topic, but I am so excited to deep dive into our guest's story.
Oh, yeah.
Because, you know, he's living proof that you can definitely use content to create profit and grow not only personally, your audience.
It's a very inspiring story, actually.
Yes. So before we get started, guys, go ahead and subscribe. Please don't forget to subscribe. I almost lost it there. To the Content is Profit podcast. That way you know when those episodes start dropping on your phone. And follow us on social media at BizBrosCo.
That is right. And if you find this episode impactful, which I am sure you will, please share it. And don't forget to leave a 5-star review.
That's right, baby. So guess where we met today's guest? If your answer is... Wait.
Okay.
Let me restart. Redo. There we go. Okay. Guess where we met today's guest? If your answer is at a conference, then you are right. This should serve as a lesson for everybody. Connect with people at events, whether they are in the real world or now, most importantly, online. Cough. Okay. Sorry, I went on a tangent.
Yes, you did. Focus. So, we met today's guest at Podfest, an awesome podcasting event in which we crushed the karaoke session, I must add.
Focus.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So, we immediately established a relationship with today's guest. He is a seasoned creator in a platform that most marketers are not familiar with. Some even fear. The platform, TikTok.
This is going to be fun, especially with everything that's going on TikTok, the ban, and Instagram Reels. Either way, today's guest has used content to build a following and start his journey as a fitness entrepreneur. Not only that, but people have been connecting with him, telling him how he has inspired them to start their fitness journey. That's the goal of real marketing right there. Making an impact.
That's right.
Oh, and I almost forgot. Building an audience, led him to speak on stage for the first time ever. Let's go!
Let's go! That is absolutely amazing. Please welcome creator of Henderson and the ultimate fitness TikToker, Chase Henderson! Let's go! Look, wait, we're doing it. There we go. Hey.
Hey. For those listening, guys, we're dancing.
We're
all
just
of us.
dancing
so
here.
I hope you're dancing in your car, doing the lawn, whatever you're doing right now, listening to the show. I hope you're dancing too.
Chase, welcome, man. It's so exciting to have you here.
Appreciate it, guys. I'm happy to be here. Man, this is a lot of energy. I love this. This is great.
I know. It's like we should be coaches or something.
We gotta keep it up, bro. There's been like one cup of coffee today. I slept like 4 hours last night. The only way to stay awake is to
by doing
put
a podcast.
The energy, you know. So
Gotta move.
Gotta move.
Sir.
That's right,
dude. Chase, it is an absolute pleasure having you here. When we met, you know, in that conference, we had no idea that the podcast was gonna go this way, and we're so proud to have you here with us because, you know, having a conversation with you, that was a huge motivation to, you know, start our own platform and, you know, doing, you know, publishing like you were doing before. So yeah, man, thank you.
Hey, man, here to help.
Sweet. Awesome. So for those who don't know who you are, you know, who's Chase? How did you start in this marketer world, coaching world, content world? And, you know, what do you do now and how do you use content now?
Yeah, so my name's Chase Henderson. Like you said, I go by Chase Henderfit on social media. Actually, funny story, Chase Henderfit, the name came from, I was in a fraternity in college and my friends would always, you know, fraternity brothers would always, you know, we always jab at each other. Yeah. And I was the fitness guy, so they always jabbing me like, hey, Chase Henderfit's here. I'm like, you know what? I'm taking that. I'm going to use that. And he came back to me a couple months later when he started seeing like I was building an audience. He's like, hey, so I get a royalty on that name, right? We were making funny, but we get a royalty, right? But no. But yeah, super into fitness. been, ups and downs in fitness world. I've had my own fitness journey, 2 of them actually. The second one being more so the story of like Hinder Lit to Hinder Fit, where, like I said, I was in college and fraternity. I was partying my ass off like all the time. It really affected everything. And it wasn't until I had to look myself in the mirror one day and be like, wow, like I'm overweight. I'm failing my classes. All my relationships are built on nothing. Like I got to change something. And that's when fitness really re-entered my life for a second time. This is my second journey going in. And that's when I decided to take it full force. So I got my certification as a personal trainer, started doing online coaching. I started building a platform like you guys have seen. I've been trying forever and ever and ever on Instagram, just couldn't crack the code there. But then TikTok came around. I was like, oh, I'm about to go ham on this.
Here we go.
At first, like I feel like everybody hops on TikTok because it's like, yeah, I'm gonna hop on as a joke. And then you actually build an audience. You're like, oh, let's keep going. All right,
Yeah.
I'm gonna stick with it. So it's been a fun ride so far.
Dude, that's awesome, man. Like what you said is like, I feel like a lot of people hop into TikTok without the expectation, just like try it out, and then the platform obviously started rewarding a lot of people and it started growing. And now, it has become a monster of its own. I actually think they released their advertising platform not too long ago now, so brands can actually start advertising in there and whatnot. Yeah. So it's gonna be a interesting set of events that we're gonna get to that in a second.
Before we get into the TikTok side of things, because I know everybody listening wants to listen to that and learn a little bit more. But Chase, I'm very interested in your story as a coach, right? Because and the reason is, when with our business, we kind of are a coach. We call it the content coaching, right? It's because there's different things that people got to do when working with us that we got to guide them through if we're teaching them or whatnot. And I think we're passionate about that topic. But I wanna ask you, like, how's that journey of being a coach not only improved you personally, but it helps others achieve any goals that they might have?
Right. I mean, so when it comes down to the coaching path, it really shows you, do you actually know what you're talking about? Because you can go down this path, somebody could get in super good shape, like in my case, I'm a fitness coach, somebody can get in really good shape and they might know what they did to get in shape. And that's where you get a lot of these fitness influencers that have zero background, zero accreditation. They're just like throwing out these like $50, $100, like $200 programs. It's like, oh, this is what I did to get in shape because now I know what I'm doing. But like, do you really know what you're doing? Can you actually sit down with someone one-on-one, face-to-face, and tell them in their specific situation, like what they can do to get in shape? Because you might have somebody who's like 300 plus pounds and, maybe you started off as like 150 pounds, you built your way up to 180. They're 300 pounds, they want to get to 180. Do you know how to help that person? And that's where, coaching and, further education really comes into play. Is like, wow, A, do I know what I'm talking about? But B, can I also help not only myself get to my goals, but can I help somebody else to get to their goals as well? Yeah. And that's what you really get tested in all those fronts.
I like that a lot. And I think, when a lot of entrepreneurs like start this journey, it's like, do I know enough to actually go out and sell this thing? Or, right, if you're working for a different company, do I actually believe in this product enough so I can actually go sell it? Because by selling it, I'm helping other people, right? So, I that I come from the fitness industry. I never coached, but I manage like studios. And, that was a conversation that we ever had. Like, if you are trying to sell this product, you should be using the product because you need to know the product. You need to know how you feel. You need to do how that is. So with that in mind, how has been like your, like, or what's your take on, personal education, developing yourself to be able to level up, I guess? Is that something that you often do? Is that something that you believe in? Like what's going on there?
Yeah, it all starts within. I'm a big believer, like as within, so without. So I mean, you really have to do a lot of deep inner work to be able to build out everything else. So when it comes to, I've got some hanging up on my wall right here. A creed that I go by is like check boxes. So something I teach my clients and something I've been taught by actually coaches that I have myself. That's when you can find a good coach. When a coach has a coach, it's a good coach. Yeah. Or at least it's a developing coach. But nonetheless, it's like check boxes. Like, are you doing the things that you know that you need to do in order to get the results that you want? Because based off of what you've done so far, that's where you are. Like where you are today is based off what you've done before. Yeah. And so if you want the specific end result, okay, you're probably gonna have to change the things that you're doing on a day-to-day basis. And sometimes it's not like sexy things. Like it could be just like eat more broccoli. I mean, it's just like easy stuff. Like drink more water, get more sleep. It's not sexy stuff, but like that, it's secret sauce. Like it's those little tiny things. It's checking off those little boxes, and you have to be able to do that yourself. So that's where it really comes into the as within, so without. You really have to go deep on the mindset side of things. Like that's another big thing I'm huge on too. If you guys see me on, mostly on Instagram is where I post it, but it's a lot of mindset stuff. You gotta hone this to be able to hone the rest of this. And that's something I'll teach, my online clients or my in-person clients as well, is once you can get this mastered, like everything else becomes easy. And it's really just checking those boxes every day.
Yeah, by him saying this, he's doing like he's signaling to his head for those listening. By the way, is mindset. Yes, and I love it because we've seen that growth like internally with ourselves and with the team, and it's like it's all about that perspective, that mindset that continues to develop, continue to search for new ways, better ways, or different ways sometimes, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I love the mindset topic, and we've dived a little bit in the podcast into that topic.
Yeah,
and I think it's the basis, honestly, of success on whatever you're gonna do. Like, if you don't have the right mindset, it's not gonna happen, right? I mean, we come from the soccer background, and I didn't realize how big of a topic mindset was until I started playing in college, and I started seeing how coaches were dealing with players, how confidence affected my personal game, right? And I was like, wow, man, like that's insane, I wish I knew this. I wish someone, when I was growing up, would coach me about mindset and about how to stay confident in the soccer games, even if I made mistakes, right? How to fail forward and learn while actually developing myself. So I think it is huge, and going back to content is the same way. Mm-hmm. You got to fail forward. You got to do it. You got to put yourself in front of the camera, in front of the mic, whatever type of content you're trying to do. And you got to get that mindset right if you want to make it work.
Right. I mean, that's, especially when it comes to content, it's huge. I mean, whether it be Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, LinkedIn, like you'll have a piece of content you think is amazing. Like, oh, I put so much time into this. Like, it's going to go great. And it's like 2 likes. It's like, oh, excuse me, what? And you can post something else like completely different that's just like, yes, whatever. And then it blows up. And it really comes down to like some things will work, some things won't, but you won't know until you fail forward and you keep doing that over and over and over. You keep posting.
Yeah, and like you say, checking those checkbox is staying consistent, man. Like at the end of the day am I doing the things that work, that are moving me forward day in and day out, yes or no, right? And we're humans. Sometimes we won't do them, I'm the first one to raise my hand here. I have a few of those days, but I'm trying to make them every time less and less and stay more consistent with it, right?
He's doing better, guys. So if you're listening, send us a message. I was like, how he's doing. Yeah, but he's doing better. He's doing all right. Dude, Chase, before we dive into content, because I mean, there's so many questions there, but I want to know, like, you talk about failing forward. What has been like throughout your journey in a big like failure that you feel like, oh my God, like this is it, like that's it, this is game over, I'm gonna have to go do something different? Have you ever had something like that, or you never really thought about it?
So I guess when it comes to failing forward, well, when it comes to the failing aspect, just being in that lapse where my first couple years of college, like I was super, super in shape. It was great. And then one of the failures I had was I let just kind of like basic desires take over. So like going out, partying, all that, all that crazy fraternity stuff. Like I let all that take over. So it was really just delving into like these animal instincts and letting like these temptations take over. That was a failure. But it was something where I realized like, okay, those things are tempting. And it really taught me, what not to go for. Because if I was going for that same party mentality over and over and over and over and over again, I was going to keep heading down that same road that I was going down where nothing was going right. But it really allowed me to take a second, be self-aware enough to look into myself, be like, okay, what do I actually want? Like, what do I want to do? Like, who do I want to be? What do I want to look like? Is fitness really my passion? Like, do I go back into it and try to like start over and do this all over again? And obviously, I mean, the answer is yes. I mean, I'm here doing fitness now and like a lot of self-development and stuff. And I wouldn't have done that had I not gone through like that rock bottom kind of failure.
Yeah.
And then, another failure would be, I mean, I guess failing forward, not really failure, but, posting more so like fitness stuff because I got made fun of it, for starting to do that. And then I made a podcast. I had a podcast that I was running a lot, and I was doing that over and over and over again. And, it was a lot of people looking at me like, oh man, that's stupid, that's dumb, this, that. And it was more so kind of like side hand, like, this isn't serious. Like, yeah, this is a joke, man. Why are you doing this? And I actually had people who I thought were my friends sit me down, and they were like, hey, so I know you're doing this whole fitness thing and like you're trying to do like the coaching or whatever, but like you need to get real here for a second. Like, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do with your life? I'm like,
yeah,
damn,
wow,
that's crazy. And that was one of those moments. It was I was taking those chances, failing forward, I guess, posting that kind of content, putting this stuff out time and time again, showing people what I really wanted and really going after what I wanted. It caused other people to like be like, whoa, man, you got to think about what you want in life. It's like, yeah, this is what I want in life. And you get judged for it. That's another thing. When you go on social media, you start doing all this stuff, and you really start going to your passions, people will judge you for it. But now it's up to you. This is now another failure moment. Are you gonna fail? Are you gonna fail by listening to them and then just like going down a regular path, or are you gonna listen to yourself and continue to make these other small fail forward type of situations where you can actually build something that you want?
Yeah, dude, that's a great topic right there. I think a lot of people have the perception that we have to keep the same friends forever. And don't get me wrong, I still have obviously, like, some of my best friends are the ones that I graduated high school with. But a lot of them, they don't share, like the things that I do right now, that I like right now. And sometimes we need to find new friends that are going to lift us up in those environments, right? Again, we've talked about it over and over again. One of the most important factors for growth is your environment. So if we start stepping into this world of entrepreneurship and we want to grow our own business and we want to do something for ourselves, like, hey, let's look for people that want the same things, that they are working to achieve the same things. And we're gonna literally, it's like you gain momentum with everybody and they start lifting you up.
Absolutely agree. So here's the thing, like, how do you find that environment, right? Like, you went through this, especially, we talk with, in the fitness industry, we kind of used to see like people on social, like it's common, right? It's very common. But in our line of work with different businesses, business owners, people that are not very comfortable on camera to get started, we're trying to dive in here. We're like, okay, we got to put you guys. We actually went on a training on a Facebook group last night, and this person, he talks ADA compliance, right, on websites, and he's doing a 45 live challenge, going live for 45 days. This is a challenge for a lot of people. It was a challenge for us, right? So how do you, if you're on that type of environment, or like, how do you find that environment, that supportive environment? Like, what do you do?
You have to take a chance. I mean, I think that's one of the biggest things, like, really just, it's taking a chance. I mean, for me, like, I'm pretty introverted overall. Going to events, you would have talked to me about a year and a half ago, I guess now, about going to an event, I would have just curled up into fetal position and be like, no, I'm not going to go anywhere. I'm good. Like, the only time I was social when I was partying, and that was it. So, sometimes you just kind of have to take the leap of faith.
Yeah. And
I did that for an event last March. Super, not antisocial, but introverted. And I had heard about this entrepreneur event. It was called Social X. It was down in Tampa, Florida.
I know who they are.
Yeah. So it was an awesome event, but it was one of those moments where you have to really look at yourself and be like, okay, this is terrifying. Like, if you're an introverted person, you have trouble, posting content or whatever it might be, like, oh, this is terrifying. But at some point you have to take a chance. I mean, you do. I mean, there comes up a component of like tough love where it's just like, okay, suck it up. You got to do something now. And it's not something people want to hear. It's definitely not something people want to hear, the easy thing, like, oh, what's the good tactic? Just do it. Like, do it. It's like literally just putting in the reps.
Yeah.
You put in more, I mean, it's like in fitness, you put in more reps over time, you're going to get more results. And so it comes down to putting yourself in those uncomfortable situations to where, like you guys were saying, like, now your lives were kind of like, it might have been hard, but now, I mean, the energy you guys had coming into this show, I mean, like, it is insane. So, I mean, I'm correct me if I'm wrong. Is that something like you guys kind of like built up and like learned yourselves, like going through this process of doing this over and over again? Or is that something that came natural?
100%. We worked our way to it, If you should go back, and if you're listening, or anybody, go back and see our first like Facebook lives. I think they were like about like September last year or so, like especially Fonzie's Facebook lives. He's like paralyzed in front of the camera, and he needed the camera, he needed the light, he needed everything. And me, I couldn't speak. Like my accent was just horrible. And but we did it, man. Like it was like 15 days, and guess what? That changed the entire business. And like you said, you just do it. Go ahead, try it out, put it out there, right? There's gonna be people there listening, right? There's gonna be people there that's gonna be an impact. And with the show, I mean, what you see is like we engineered it the way that we want it, so we could get the most energy out of it, right? We know that we worked really well with background music, so that's why you hear the background music now, right? We know that we're like hyped up if we put some songs at the beginning, like this guy, right? And we're like, okay, let's go. So exactly. So we use tools to kind of leverage that to make sure that we can perform for the show. So, but everything started with
that was a learning experience.
Exactly.
It is step by step, and I love the fitness analogies. At the end, I use a lot of soccer stories, to illustrate points. And like you said, it's just doing the reps every single time. You're not gonna, lift a barbell and then have the rock pecs. That's not how it works, right? So we gotta consistently do the reps to get better every single time. And in that theme of showing up, right? I want to transition a little bit now to the TikTok world.
Ooh, baby, let's go.
You started showing up, and then I'm guessing as you started to see this like massive thing gaining traction, you were like, okay, I'm gonna be consistent here, right? What was the drive behind it? What was the objective? Did you go in with an objective? Did the objective came after you started gaining an audience? What was it?
So the objectives have changed since I started. When I first started, I saw it as, this is Vine number 2. I loved Vine when it was out.
Yeah.
But I was so scared of posting content, and I wanted to be Vine famous so bad, like David Dobrik Vine famous so bad, and I was like, I can't post. People are gonna think it's weird. And I saw TikTok, and I was like, oh, this is round 2. Like I'm not passing up this opportunity. I'm gonna post like Vine quality kind of stuff here. So at first it was just like random funny videos, and then a couple of them just like popped off, and I was like, oh, like I actually didn't expect these videos to do well. I was hitting 100,000, then 200,000, then 300,000, then 500,000 like views over and over and over again. I was like, oh snap!
Yeah, and
then I finally had one that hit like 2.4 million, and I was like,
wow,
this is real. This is real now.
That's what I was like looking at. That's what I was looking at like right now as you were talking. I'm like, I need to find like his account and actually go see the views. And like you said, getting that traction, you start seeing that you're like incredible. And we see it here, 600,000, 400,000.
Wow.
It's insane. So yeah, sorry, continue. That's why I was looking at.
Look, how many posts has he done? Because like that's consistency right there.
Yeah.
So the post, so on what you can do on TikTok too is you can private videos. So that's not all the posts I have. So I don't know if I can pull it up on my phone anymore. Oh, I've got my phone right in front of me. All right, never mind. But I do that all the time. But I've posted up probably 100 some odd videos, but I've probably privated twice as many. Just because like they just didn't do well, or there was something that was off that I missed, and I was like, oh snap, I can't post that. Like it's just bad content at that point. It's like I'm not, this won't do well at all. Like it's not one of those things like, oh, like I didn't look good. I was like, no, this is bad. So like I would private it.
Yeah.
So or if it was videos that didn't relate to fitness, I'd private it too. So there's probably double what you see on there. Like is everything you see, I've probably privated double that. So it's like triple the videos overall.
That's interesting. So how has your strategy evolved besides obviously, because this is how I see TikTok, right? It's a very entertaining app that once you go in there, if you want to go in there for 3 minutes, you're going to spend like 8 hours. So you beware, guys. Beware. Yeah, it's a black hole. So, I see it mostly as entertaining, but I know some people have taken advantage in a marketing sense, right, to market themselves, their brands. How do you see that? Did you discover that along the way? And what was your strategy now? Like, how did it turn into a strategy?
Yeah, so actually, what ended up happening was, I don't know if you guys are familiar with, or if you connected with Jen and Steph Pseudo on Instagram or TikTok.
No.
They're cool. So if you want to have somebody who's got big followings on TikTok and like so they crank social media, I would definitely hit them
Hey,
up.
We'll talk right after.
Yeah, we'll definitely talk right after.
But they had actually introduced me to a guy, Michael. What's his? I can't remember if it's Gonzalez or Sanchez, either one. I think it's Michael Sanchez, and he does like marketing stuff. And he was just starting up this like TikTok group. I was like, oh, okay. And he had run accounts with like Ed Milet and like all these other bigger people.
Wow.
And so I was like, okay, yeah, let's see what this group's about. And it was really like sitting in that group, I realized like, oh snap, like TikTok can actually be used for a lot more than just like entertaining videos and just funny stuff, which I had been using mainly for before.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this can actually be a platform used for like impact and overall revenue and like driving clients towards my coaching. And it was a huge game changer, and it really changed the way I looked at my content. Because before it was just random videos. If I thought it was funny, I'd post it. But then I was like, okay, no, I need to niche down. It needs to be fitness. Boom, just fitness, so people know exactly what they're gonna get when they come to my account. Because before it was like I had college memes, I had the funny sounds I would do, I had some fitness stuff here and there, but there was no rhyme or reason. People would follow me because I was funny, and that was it. Yeah. But it really turned into, I started putting out more fitness content. People started actually following me for fitness, and I was like, oh snap, like this can actually build into something real.
Yeah.
So it definitely changed over time when I saw, the capability of what Michael had in his group, and then I transitioned that to my account. I was like, oh snap, this is the real deal.
Yeah, that's awesome. And for those listening that might have an idea, you want to execute something, have this like business in the back of your mind, and you're like, well, but I don't know. It's like, if I can post about it, hey, you can totally transition, right? You can make that shift. Like you did, right? You were just being entertaining at first without no real goal, and then you were like, wow, when you realize the possibilities, it's like, why not? Let's do it, right? It's going to be beneficial, again, not only for you to grow your brand, but it's going to be beneficial for the people that you're helping. Like we said in the intro, right? Like we ask you for some of your best achievements, and one of the ones you mentioned is actually having people text you and tell you how inspired and motivated they have become by seeing your content. So personally, I think that is win number one, man. Congrats on that. That's absolutely amazing.
Oh yeah, that's massive. I mean, we talk about believing so much in what you do, right? And yes, we tie it down with profit, with the sale of the service that you might be offering, the product that you might be offering. But at the end of the day, it's like your content is also your product, right? You're putting information out there, you're putting like yourself out there. So what a better way, right, for people to invest their time like that's just such a good thing to feel, because like even if we have 2 people, 3 people, 1 person watching the content, they're investing their valuable time to watch what you have to say and then take action on that content. So I think that's one of the best things that we can take from that content. And you're taking it to a whole new level, like niching down in just like one of these platforms, and then trying to figure out from there like how to go about it. So I love the lessons that you share here with niching down, knowing exactly what to do, because now people are gonna know exactly what they're looking for. People are gonna know you exactly by your passion, and then you're gonna start seeing that audience that resonates with what you do, and then all those haters can go eat whatever they want in the restaurant next door.
Is that clarity of the message, man. And something for people listening right now, that is probably why we preach so much 45 Live. One of the many reasons is that just being consistent, showing up and talking about these topics that matter to you around your business. They're going to give you clarity on your message, because people are going to start interacting with you. They're going to start commenting. They're going to start DMing you, right? And you're going to see, oh, these are the topics that are resonating with people. And that allows you to pretty much craft your message to what they need, so you can help them and inspire them, like Chase right here.
Yeah.
So Chase, quick question now. Enter new character, right? I don't know the sound of Super Smash Bros. New character, right? Instagram Reels. 2 days ago, I was trying to post something on Instagram, and Instagram was like, no, you cannot see this unless you update the app. And I was like, oh, okay, another update. I install it. As soon as I open it, I see the Instagram story logo on the very top shining, that they added something new. I'm like, let's see what's new in here. And I tap, and I see Will Smith, right? One of the biggest celebrities in social media. He is doing the exact same thing that he used to do on TikTok, but now on this thing that is called Instagram Reels. And I'm like, what? Did Instagram just pull a 2003 Snapchat move where they try to buy Snapchat and Snapchat was like, no, and they just absolutely copy the whole Snapchat model into their app?
You've been wanting to say that phrase like since you saw that.
I practiced it, guys. I practiced it. So, I mean, I'm like, literally, this was my thought. My thought was like, dude, Facebook is like one of the biggest predator companies out there. That literally is like preying on TikTok, just grabbing that. In my mind, I was like, their band's going on. Did they push it? They developed this super quick, or were they working on this a while ago? I don't know the entire facts. I'm gonna be 100% transparent. I am very shocked by that move. So from a TikTok creator, right, and one that has lots of followers, lots of views, I'll say lots at stake, what is your thought on Instagram Reels?
I hate it. I hate it so much. Like, it's so, because I was honestly super excited for it. Like, surprised. Like, I was super excited for it. It was like, Facebook and Instagram, they've done this before where they see a company doing something and they copy it, and like you said, 2003, like Snapchat, they copy Snapchat. But honestly, I think the copying from Snapchat went really well, because I use stories all the time. And I don't even have Snapchat on my phone anymore. It's just one of those things. Like, I love stories. And so I looked at the Reels thing, because I know they've been working on it in Brazil for the past couple months. And I was really excited for it to come out. I was like, okay, cool. This is going to be really nice. And then, like, I opened up the app and I'm like, nothing's different. Like, I was expecting to see like a little Reels button, like, because they were talking about how you could go just as viral on Reels as you could on TikTok, and it was fair game, everybody's playground. But I'm looking around, like, first off, where is it? Like, I just couldn't find. I finally found it. It's like you go to this little store where you go to add a story, because I go add a story, and then it was there. I was like, oh, well, I guess it's here now. Cool, I guess. And then I saw that, and that enough for me was like, I'm not even gonna try to do it. I haven't made one. I was like, I don't even want to use it. And I've talked to couple of people in like TikTok and Instagram communities, and like people on Instagram, they don't really like it. TikTokers obviously really don't like it, because I think one of the big things that really makes it a problem for TikTokers is that when it comes to Instagram, people who already have an established following are most likely to get more views, because they have obviously way more followers. And that just kind of puts them, it's just another way for them to make content now. And there might be that virality aspect to it on Reels, but it's more so these bigger accounts. Like, you see Will Smith, like, Will Smith's always gonna blow up any platform he goes on, but I mean, like, it's just that kind of aspect. Whereas TikTok, it's literally anybody's game. I was on TikTok before we got on here. Some kid, like, probably like 12 years old, had some, like, his video was stupid. I mean, it was literally, he was filming his room. Is like, oh, I have a green to purple filter, and he changed the color from green to purple, and it was like 300,000 likes. I'm like, what? And I go to his profile, and like, he had just started posting up, like, didn't have a whole lot of videos, but he already went like mega viral, like that. And that's where TikTok really comes in, where it's like it's anybody's game on TikTok. Whereas Instagram, like, if you're established, you're gonna win.
Yeah. Now my question is, on TikTok, is anybody's game for now? Or or is it gonna be always, right? I mean, my personal opinion, I think, is for now, as they're trying to grow like, having people getting lots of views and lots of exposure. I think it attracts people that want to grow their audience, makes it more appealing. I think exactly the same on Instagram. If Instagram manages to do something like that, where people are rewarded on Reels with more exposure, I think they're gonna win the game. I don't know how they're gonna do that. But the other thing, me personally, as a heavy user on Instagram, more than, I deleted TikTok after I went through the
black hole several times.
Yeah, I was like, no, dude, I'm just wasting so much time in here. I deleted it. Yeah. But
by the way, like, there's a couple of these Rose videos in there at TikTok. So if you guys can find them and send us the screenshots, we'll give you a surprise. We'll see what happens.
so what else?
Ooh,
hey. What I'll say, like, me as a user on Instagram, I honestly don't know if I enjoy Reels because I feel it's like two different purposes. Like TikTok had for me personally, had a whole different purpose, which is that entertaining than Instagram. I don't know. Like, again, as a marketer, we use Instagram a lot to connect with people, to establish these lines of communication, conversation. Yeah. And I don't know, feel like Reels is like a distractor for all that.
We got some questions coming in, they're just asking, why are most governments super against TikTok? And the honest answer here is like, I honestly don't know because I haven't researched enough. But with that being said, I've seen some news that India was the first country to actually ban TikToks. And it has to do with some security issues on the back end with, where the app is developed, which is China, and the communist ties. And that's kind of like super high overview. Again, I am going to put the full disclosure here that I haven't done my proper research. That's what I've seen around the globe, right? And I think India was the first country to ban it. And then that's started kind of like a chain reaction of other countries doing that. So I'm sure it's not just the creator side of things. Is a lot more than that with data security and X, Y, and Z. So, I mean, that there's full conspiracies probably talking about this thing right now, right? But as far as like for creators, right, like people like you, Chase, like that's the main thing. And when we look at a little bit cold on business sides, because we've seen it like, okay, as a business, should I go there, right? We listen to this podcast called Planet Money, right? They talk economics, they tell these stories about economy. And they're awesome. They're super engaging. And they started a TikTok channel, right? It's like, okay, so what's the purpose as a business for me diving into this platform? So creators like you guys found your audience, and then from there you started to grow and some opportunities. But then businesses outside or people outside to go in there at first, right? There's some experimentation that needs to happen. There's like, should I niche down? What do I talk about? Then I don't go viral because it's not the quality topic, whatever. There's so many variables. So I think it's pretty interesting to see, like, people like you, Chase, that you develop this amazing audience, this amazing rapport with your people. What's next, right? Like, what's your move? What are you gonna do? How are you gonna pivot, right? Because I feel like this is another one of those moments where we need to make a decision, right? So what's next for you?
So that was a lot. So what's like for my vision, like with TikTok, or is it like
no, for you, like personally, like what's the next move? Yeah. On TikTok or Reels or content creation, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, I mean, I love creating content. I mean, it's probably one of my favorite things to do. Like, if I could just create content all day, I would. So, I mean, I'm really just gonna keep hammering home on TikTok, especially since ByteDance, the company that owns TikTok, just divested all of their assets from owning like the national version of TikTok. So like more so like US and India and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So it looks like Microsoft's gonna pick it up. So I'm gonna keep posting on there. Hopefully Microsoft doesn't mess it up.
Yes.
If anything, Facebook really should take it over because Facebook knows how to do social media. But whatever. I'm gonna keep going with TikTok.
Yeah.
I don't like Reels, but as a creator and, even on like a business side, like you have to be open-minded. So like, I know I'm going to have to end up using Reels just to diversify my content, really put it in different places to see like, okay, does it actually work in Reels? Like, can I actually create like the same kind of following that I did in TikTok on Instagram? And then just keep going different, you got to be omnipresent. You have to be on multiple channels. Yeah. So like I'm on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok's obviously my biggest channel.
Yeah.
So it's just really creating as much content as I possibly can. And one of the big things for me is I love, like we kind of mentioned earlier, I love getting those messages where it's like, hey man, I was never into fitness, but like I saw your videos and it seemed really cool. You inspired me. Or, I just got a message today from a kid. That was really cool for me. It's like this 16-year-old kid. He's like, hey, I suffer from like this heavy like mental illness. And one of the things that, these professionals told me to do is like go into exercise and fitness. And I knew like I followed you on TikTok. So I started going through all your stuff and like your stuff is really inspiring me to like get healthy. Like I want abs. I'm like, of course every 16-year-old wants abs. And it's just like, I want to get abs. I want to be healthy. Yeah. Like you've inspired me. Like, can you help me? I'm just like, damn. Like not only am I like helping like people, but I'm helping like kids.
Yeah.
Like this is like the kids of the future. The kids are going to be, yes, the next buying market, but they're the leaders of tomorrow. They're the ones that are going to push the narrative forward.
Yeah.
And I'm helping these kids out. Like that for me was like worth its weight in gold.
Yeah.
I'm good.
You know
that kind of message is insane.
Yeah. You know what I find most amazing about that opportunity of working with kids is the fact that, like you mentioned before, it's all about mindset. So yes, you might be in the way helping them get a six-pack, whatever but you are working on their mindset, right? Like for what we've talked right now, we know you're definitely gonna do a good job at that. And then these kids are gonna grow up. Like I look back in my life and I'm like, where would I be, right? If I would have some sort of coach that would guide my mindset towards, right, like where we are right now. Dude, I'll be like, dude, like that would be amazing, right? So how cool is that? But again, we gotta live in the moment, and I enjoy every moment of the now. But I'm excited for you, man, because like the things that you can probably do and help these kids do is absolutely amazing. That being said, I think I see TikTok right now as still a top of funnel strategy where people put their content, bring awareness to people. I feel like in the hierarchy of social medias, TikTok is at the bottom. Kind of like it's not, and in that way, I'm sorry about that, but what I mean is, you see people redirecting from TikTok to their Instagrams and YouTube channels, right? They're using it as a way to filter audience and take them to these other social medias that I think they perceive a little more valuable, more established, right? Now, what I see happening is, this is my prediction. I'm going to pull a Gary Vee right here. In 10 years, we're going to put a clip of this. Say, I talked about this. But I think Reels, I think is going to win the game on TikTok. I've seen a lot of TikTokers test the waters, like dip their toes by repurposing some of their content on Reels. I honestly don't know about results. You're telling me right now that they still don't have the same results, the same exposure. But I think if Reels wants to win this battle, they're gonna have to adopt that and give a chance for people to get more exposure on their real content. And if they do that, they are definitely gonna win. And eventually, I think I'm claiming it here. TikTok is gonna disappear.
I think at the end of
it's a bold claim.
I think at the end of the day, I know.
Sorry, Chase. Bro, this is my
I'm
other.
hurt, bro.
This is my other guess, Chase. Bro, your Reels account, your Instagram account is gonna grow even bigger than
There
your
you
TikTok
go.
account. Let's go.
You got it back. You got him back right there. No, but honestly, Chase, I think a couple things that you mentioned here is, first off, diversifying content. The second thing is, like you mentioned, you're passionate about creating content. So I think that at that point, the platform is really irrelevant, right? Because at the end of the day, is it the algorithm? Is it how much we pay to get our message out? But if we're not passionate about that content, if we're not passionate about that information that we're sharing, nothing's gonna happen. So you have to create somewhere. So that's what I'm saying. Like, the platform kind of becomes irrelevant at that point, because you're gonna create anyways, right? So with that, we feel really comfortable on live podcasts, for example. We know a lot of people that don't feel that way. We have the capacity to do these 3 times a week. There's people that don't, right? We have no business in TikTok. Right, we tried to do the Kamehameha, like Goku, like Ultra Instinct thing, one video, and it was like, no, we can't do this anymore. So again, if you're listening, you find that video.
I was proud of that one.
Yeah, it's all mistimed. Yeah, not. And I say we invested about like 3 hours of our day to try to get that one right. And so again, for us, it doesn't work. For you, it does. Amazing. Yeah. You're creating an impact. So again, like for you listening, like, test the waters, right? Why do you feel comfortable doing it? For Chase, he's a master, right, at TikTok, and that's why he's here. That's why he's sharing what he's learned. But
and we do recommend go check him out. If you have the TikTok app, definitely go check him out. What is it? Chase Henderfit?
Chase Henderfit.
Yeah, it's at Chase_Henderfit.
Awesome.
But we're gonna leave all those links right in the descriptions. But at the end of the day, Chase, like you said, it's all about mindset. So thank you for bringing your coach mindset in here. We have a couple questions before we land this plane. Sure. Is that a thing now? Landing the plane?
I guess you made it a thing.
Yes. All right. So Chase, what would you say to somebody? And we talked about mindset, coaching, content, right? What would be like one action point that you recommend somebody today to move forward?
Do you actually want to do it? I think that's a big thing is because a lot of people, they get into coaching or social media, like creating content or whatever it might be, just with the idea of like, oh, I can make some money, or like, oh, this is kind of cool, but like, do you actually want to do it? Do you actually want to take this on? Because there are going to be times where, even when I was starting out my TikTok, like I would be up till like 2 a.m. creating content just so I would have enough content to be able to build a page. There's times where I have, I've built out back-end systems within a business to be able to have a sound structure to my coaching. There are times where I have to sit down with people, like take a lot of my time to talk to people to see like, can I actually help this person? If they are a client of mine, like what can I do to help them even further? Like you have to realize like all of this is a huge investment in time and resources. Like this ain't cheap. Like even though like this social media is like a free app and everything, like you're using all this time, which that time could be money, and you might be spending money on resources. Like I'm using a phone stand right now. I've got multiple phone stands. I've got like room lights. I've got editing softwares. I got all this stuff to make sure that my content is good. So, you have to realize like there's a lot that goes into all of this, whether it be coaching to further invest your education so you can help people, or whether it be creating content and make sure like you have good equipment. Like you guys have like a great equipment. You got the microphones. I've seen when we did the Contents Profit, I saw a little bit of the office. Like you guys got a lot of stuff. Like this is an investment in time and resources. Like, so that'd be the one action point is like figure out, do you want to do this?
Yeah.
It's I'll censor myself, but it's a heck yes or it's a heck no. It's one or the other. There's no, oh, maybe. It's like, it's one or the other.
Yes.
I usually say F yes or F no.
Agreed.
I won't do that. So it's heck yes or heck no. Like, you got to decide.
Yeah. Love it.
And once you decide heck yes, dude, full force, go for it.
Yeah. Thank you for keeping it kid-friendly here. I know. Not that we really mind.
Alex Taylor, we listen to you.
Yeah, but yeah, Alex Taylor was dropping F-bombs everywhere. But Alex, we love you, man. But dude, like I'm gonna use this analogy. It's like going shopping on Amazon, man. Sometimes we just start scrolling, we see all this stuff that we're like, oh, I love this, and then we buy it, and then buyer's remorse hit, we regret it. So just put it in your cart, and then come back 24 hours, 48 hours later, and see if you still want it, right? I think it's the same with these things. It's like we get excited because we see all these other people, and then we immediately are like, oh, okay, let's go, and then we quit halfway, and then we jump onto to the next shiny object thing, right? So let's just put it there. Put the idea, put it in your little shopping cart, and then come back 24, 48 hours later and ask yourself, do I still really want to pursue this, right? And if the answer is yes, okay, attack it all in. But I love that, man. Thank you.
I love it. Yes. Sweet, man. That was perfect. And I think we want to do it, right? The content thing.
Oh, yeah,
okay, good.
For sure.
Okay,
for sure.
Just double checking. Okay.
I think we're already too deep into it.
Too deep into it to stop. Yeah. Dude, Chase, biggest question probably of the show. Where will you be if you did not publish?
Where would I be if I did not publish? I think I answered this one on content, but it's like it's really a tough one. I really don't know where I would be. I definitely creating fitness content, but if I didn't publish any of my stuff, and honestly, I probably would have lost a lot of motivation again too on the fitness side, because I feel like the second go at fitness was really like, yes, it was to make myself better, but like posting that was also to make other people better, but it was also to keep myself accountable and like actually keep me in the fitness arena, make sure I'm staying healthy and making sure I'm getting better. Yes, the content was, great for helping other people get motivated and inspired, but it was really another accountability measure for me. So like part of me could sit there and think like, would I still actually be in fitness if I didn't post anything at all? And I really don't know the answer to that. It's probably wouldn't be. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Because like, yes, I'm passionate about it, but seeing the ability to help other people really made me that much more passionate about it.
That's awesome, man.
Thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
That. Every time we ask this question is like, we're doing it for us. We're like, we need the gas to keep going.
Yeah, I love that accountability fact. You know,
dude, amazing.
And the reason why we started 45 Live back when we first did it, I forgot how to speak.
Ooh, baby.
So back when we started 45 Live, right? The main reason was literally just to have that challenge that we would share with people so we could stay accountable. That was the whole thing at first. And then it evolved and it turned into an actual thing, and it was awesome. But I love it, man. I love that. If you're struggling to find yourself accountable, keep yourself accountable, dude, just publish and share with everybody else, other people will definitely keep you accountable.
So Chase, you can be the Content is Profit family TikTok coach and fitness coach, which I need, by the way. I'm about to start rolling down the street again. I need to like get back on the weight room.
Yeah, we gotta get him in here, Chase, please.
That's why the camera is up to here. That's it. Yeah. Dude, Chase, it was a complete honor having you here, man. Thanks for sharing your thoughts on everything, really, from coaching all the way to like TikTok. I know it was a sensitive topic. We mentioned it earlier, and you almost cried, but it was a pleasure. And how can people find you before before TikTok stops existing? Can you repeat that?
per my guess, per my guess here. That's my prediction.
That's Fonzie's prediction.
That's my prediction. Video editor here, please. I need you to tag this part of the video, put it in the vault, because we're gonna take it 10 years from now, and we're gonna blast it.
We're gonna drop it, dude. Where can people find you? Where can people connect with you?
Yeah, so I'm at Chase_HenderFit pretty much everywhere. I'm mostly on Instagram and TikTok, so those are gonna be the best places to find me. But I'm Chase HenderFit on LinkedIn, Chase HenderFit on Facebook. But I'm usually majority of my time on TikTok and Instagram, so that'll be the best place to find me.
Awesome.
I encourage you guys, go follow him, not only for his amazing content, but if you get fitness needs, he's the guy.
He's your guy. Dude, Chase, don't leave. We're going to say bye to the live audience in just a second. But with that being said, guys, thank you so much for tuning in into the Content is Profit podcast. Don't forget to subscribe. Smash that subscribe button. And follow us on social media at BeastBrosCo.
That's right. And if you find this episode impactful, which I'm sure you did, and please leave your predictions down below. And... share it. Yeah. And don't forget to leave a 5-star review. We ran over.
Yeah. Come on, Fonzie. Come on. All right. Bye, people. Thank you.